Good evening and thanks for joining us. This is Times News. I'm Wonder Msisia. First, the headlines. Former Deputy Speaker of Parliament Clement Chiwaya has committed suicide at Parliament building in Lilongwe. Fears of fuel crisis continue with the commodity unavailable in most filling stations. A fresh obstacle in the DPP election case as it has been revealed that the Attorney General is working without taking an oath of office. We have these and other stories. Please do stay with us. Former Deputy Speaker of Parliament Clement Chiwaya has died after he shot himself with a pistol at Parliament building in Lilongwe on Thursday. Confirming the development, Parliament Secretariat spokesperson Ian Mwenye said Chiwaya has committed suicide over a demand he had been making as part of his conditions of service. Mwenye has described the incident as unfortunate. Rebecca Chimjeka has more in this report read by Matthews Kasanda.
Parliament spokesperson Ian Mwenye confirmed the suicide and described it as unfortunate. Mwenye says Chiwaya complained about employment benefits, which he claimed were not honored. The Parliament spokesperson further says Chiwaya was demanding Parliament to replace a vehicle which he was using but was later involved in a road accident. He further says Parliament sought legal advice from Attorney General who faulted Chiwaya.
As the High Court was looking into the issue was also taken to the Office of the Ombudsman, who at that particular time ruled the issue in favor of Honorable Clement Chiwaya. But when the issue was taken to the High Court, it was later observed that the ruling from the Ombudsman was set aside, because it was observed or noted that the Ombudsman could not handle the issue because it was already before the High Court.
Police spokesperson James Kadazela says the police will release a report on the circumstances that led to Chiwaya's death. Meanwhile, the United Democratic Front party members have expressed shock with the demise of their party member. The matter of Chiwaya's employment benefits is still at the Commercial Court for final determination.
Fears of fuel crisis continue as a result of most filling stations not selling the product in some parts of the country. Our reporter Gary Samati visited some of the filling stations in Blantyre to confirm the development. He has filed this report.
Despite an assurance by the Malawi Energy Regulatory Authority that the country has enough stock of fuel, most filling stations in some parts of the country are not selling fuel to consumers. Times visits to some areas in Blantyre has found filling stations found along the Chipembere Highway with cones, indicating that fuel is not being sold. An anonymous fuel attendant told Times that some filling stations have fuel, but they're only saving it just in case the strike by truck drivers continues. Truck drivers have been on strike since Monday, asking for salary increment among other things.
And in Lilongwe, motorists have been scrambling for fuel, mostly petrol, in few filling stations following continuous shortage of the commodity. This is due to the ongoing strike by truck owners and their drivers. Matthews Kasanda went to some of the filling stations and he now reports.
One of the motorists, David Peary, told Times on Thursday that he had been on the queue for about 4 hours.
I have been here for 4 hours now, but I have not been assisted. This situation is not normal.
Kabaza operators, including Damson Godson, who were found at one of the filling stations, claim they have spent the whole day without doing any business.
This has affected our business. We are failing to do business. We have been on the queue fighting for fuel.
The truck drivers have been on strike since Monday this week.
And meanwhile, members of the Shire Highlands Milk Producers Association held demonstrations on Thursday morning in Choro in light of the recent truck drivers' strike that has in turn halted their milk transportation processes. They marched to the District Commissioner's office to raise their concerns. Yamika Nikachaje has filed this report.
Many of the members expressed dissatisfaction with the government for not being able to address the truck driver strike in good time, which has led to much of the milk they transport to go bad. Speaking in an interview, Shimpa chairman, Sign Capital, says their association has over 11,000 members and many of them will be unable to provide for their families if this issue is not addressed.
Each and every day we produce over 120,000 liters of milk. So if you times it by 210 kwacha, you can see that it's over 25 million per day that we are losing. So you can see that it's a great challenge to we the farmers. We have over 11,000 farmers who are making milk every day. So with this scenario of truck drivers, I think we the farmers, we are in a great problem. So we want the government maybe to sit down and discuss the issue amicably with the truck drivers.
DC for Cholo, Douglas Moffat, assured the association that he would take action and make sure the government addresses their complaints.
Our assurance is that we are going to send this petition straight to the relevant authorities for immediate action. As we are aware, as we are recovering from COVID pandemic, many people have lost jobs. This milk industry is the one that is only creating jobs and also creating income. As you can see that just within one day, they have lost 22 million. So the 4 days that the strike has been going on, what it means is that the local farmers have lost at farm gate price amounting to 88 million. This government cannot allow, and this government cannot tolerate.
The association said that about 80% of their milk is produced in Cholo, Mulanje, Chiradzulo, and Blantyre districts, with about 100,000 liters of milk processed in Lilongwe.
The Ministry of Health has granted a waiver on COVID-19 test fees for professional drivers plying their trade on international routes, following concerns by their governing bodies. Following the waiver, the professional drivers will be tested for free, as initially they were paying $50 for a COVID test for them to be able to transport essential supplies. Patience Runda with the details.
In a statement from the ministry issued on September 28, 2021, signed by Secretary for Health Charles Masambo, the waiver is in line with a memorandum of understanding which government signed with the Transporters Association, Professional Drivers Union and Truck Drivers Association. The statement further indicates that the waiver will ease transportation of essential supplies into the country, such as medicines and other COVID-19 prevention and control supplies. Reacting to the development, Transporters Association of Malawi Executive Member Eliot Musa said the waiver is a relief because a lot of costs are incurred when transporting supplies in the country. On his part, Truck Drivers Association Public Relations Officer Paulo Kachitsa said the waiver is long overdue as it was supposed to start on August 1 this year.
The agreement was made and it was put in written in the government promised that they have gazetted this into a law. That come 1st August, we shall start getting this COVID-19 certificate on a free charge, only for us truck drivers. But that isn't what has come on the ground. That's why you have seen us going on strike again this time around.
Meanwhile, several associations, including truck drivers and the Professional Drivers Union, are on a strike aimed at forcing the government to respond to their grievances, which include salary increment, passport renewal payment, among others.
The Democratic Progressive Party DPP election case may hit a fresh bump following revelations that the Attorney General Thabo Chakaka Nyirenda is working without taking an oath of office. The DPP's lawyer Charles Muhango, who also served as Attorney General, expressed his surprise at learning that Nyirenda is working without taking oath of office. Jameson Jauluka reports.
But asked if it was a matter of law or practice for Attorney General to take an oath of office before discharging his duties, Muhango said he would come back to the court to explain if that is a matter of law or practice. He, however, said the office of the Attorney General is provided for in the Constitution, and to his knowledge, every person holding a constitutional office must take an oath of office.
I raised the issue of the taking of office, oath by the Honorable Attorney General, because my understanding is that this is the Office of Attorney General is a constitutional office established under Section 98 of the Constitution. I believe that all offices under the Constitution, before you undertake the duties for the office to which you have been appointed in the Constitution, you should first of all swear that you are going to defend that Constitution. And I was surprised that my learned friend, the Honorable Attorney General, now seems to suggest that he has not taken, accept that he has not taken the oath, and he seems to suggest that it's not necessary because he's a public officer. I was appointed as a public officer. I did not swear at State House, but before I executed any of my duties, I was given an oath in writing, which I took at the office.
But Nyirenda said does not have to take oath of office as if he is a cabinet minister.
What says that if you start working as an attorney general, you need to be sworn in. They can't promulgate a law. So they raise an objection, they never recommend. And they also surprised. We started this case on time. They never raised the issue of sworn in. Yesterday we were in court, they never raised that issue. Today, seriously, they are raising that point. Let Justice Maxim Mandela, who was appointed as a public officer, not as a minister, never took off office. So you cannot talk about a practice, and then of course there is a practice. That practice cannot take the place of the law.
The hearing was for the state to reply the responses made by the DPP on the AG's preliminary objections against the case. Nyirenda insists that application before the court is a waste of time and abuse of court processes.
The High Court in Blantyre will on October 5th deliver a sentence in the Thompson Mpinganjira judge bribery case. High Court Judge Dorothy De Gabriel convicted Mpinganjira on September 10th and remanded him at Chichiri prison. Jameson Chauluka reports.
The notice of the date for delivery of sentence says Judge De Gabriel would deliver the sentence in the morning. Mpinganjira was found guilty of attempting to bribe the 5 judges sitting as a constitutional court who were hearing the presidential elections case to rule in favor of former President Peter Mutharika and Malawi Electoral Commission. Mpinganjira denied the charges and paraded 2 witnesses who included himself to prove his innocence. On the donation that he made to the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, Mpinganjira said he made the donations to all leading political parties, such as Malawi Congress Party, Democratic Progressive Party, United Democratic Front, UDF, UTM and People's Party, so he was okay with whoever would have won the 2019 elections. The Anti-Corruption Bureau, ACB, on the other hand, paraded all the 5 judges and an official from the Bureau itself to prove the case.
The Industrial Relations Court, IRC, says at least 60% of labor cases should be resolved by the unions before being referred to the court. Chairperson of the court, Austin Msoya, says most of the cases are baseless and just add to the workload. This came up on Thursday in Lilongwe during a public debate on the Employment and Labor Relations Amendment Bill organized by the HRCC. Wezi Gausi reports.
Nsoya says currently the Industrial Court has about 9,000 cases which await hearing in Lilongwe, Blantyre and Mzuzu. He pleads with Malawi Congress of Trade Union, MCTU, to help in assessing some of the labor cases before they reach the courts.
It's not because of lack of capacity only, or maybe the presence of panelists. It's also a possibility that this is so because everyone who gets dismissed hopes to come to the Industrial Relations Court.
Human Rights Consultative Committee HRCC Chairperson Robert Nkwezalamba agrees with the Industrial Court's assertion. He said there was a need to follow proper procedures when people have labor issues to ease the workloads in the courts.
Would like to first agree with the chairperson of the Industrial Relations Court who said perhaps not all cases warrant proper hearing. The fact of the matter is that indeed when you're fired you would want some form of justice, but if we can adopt what we call alternative dispute resolution mechanisms where cases are resolved at a grassroots level.
Meanwhile, the HRCC has requested the government to hold more consultations on the bill before the president signs to it.
You're watching news at 8 on Times Television, TTV and Times 360 Malawi Facebook page. We'll be back after this short break.
We all start differently, but we can all start with the strongest protection. Because some start early, others start late. Some from little homes, others from big ones. Some start together, or all on their own.
It doesn't matter how you start, as long as you start strong. With new Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection. Now with fluoride plus arginine for 4 times more strengthening power. So that you can give them the strongest start to their day. Colgate. Start strong, stay strong.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
Unayo ndiyo deliliga.
Kutumiza
Umanso kulandira ndalama.
osatengera banki.
Kapena nambala.
Umwe muli nayo.
Unayo.
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 Zonse momo.
Imbani star 24/7 hash kuti mulembetse mwaulere. Standard Bank, it can be.
UNICAF University, September to October 2021 intake. Special scholarships from UNICAF University for bachelor, master's, and doctoral degree programs. UNICAF University is accredited nationally by the NCHE and internationally by the British Accreditation Council in the UK. Enroll for internationally recognized degrees at a fraction of the cost until the end of October 2021. Apply today and get a free tablet when you pay the required deposit. WhatsApp 0993 907 002.
Watching news at 8 on Times Television, TTV, and Times 360 Malawi Facebook page. Vice President Saulos Chilima has called on Malawians to play their role in maintaining peace that the country is enjoying despite some challenges, saying peace cannot be kept by force. Chilima made the remarks on Thursday in Lilongwe when he presided over a commemoration event, the 2021 International Day of Peace. Matthews Kasanda with the full story.
Chilima says it is possible for people to resolve conflicts without violence. The vice president has cited lies, envy, selfishness, and greed as some of the threats to peace.
Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding.
United Nations Resident Coordinator Maria Jose Torres says for peace to be achieved, there's need for justice, equality, and dignity for all people.
To celebrate that Malawi is one of the countries in Africa that rather than looking into, accelerating conflict, we are looking into establishing a national peace and unity commission. Such a terrific moment.
Minister of Civic Education and National Unity Timothy Ntambo says Malawians need to have values that bind them together.
An important aspect of development and progress depends on other factors to be put in place for us to thrive.
Public Affairs Committee Chairperson Monsignor Patrick Tawala stressed the need for the clergy to advance peace among all people.
At the time prison facilities are facing congestion challenges in the country, someone is sleeping on the job. As Kalonga District, for example, does not have a purpose-built prison about 10 years after an earthquake destroyed the inmates' facility. As Feston Malek exonerates in this special report, the delays to reconstruct Kalonga Prison, which was supposed to start in 2012, has forced prison authorities to be sending prisoners to Chitipa, Rumpi, and Mzimba prisons.
It is around 10 o'clock in the morning, but the air is already heated up. This is Karonga Prison, and prisoners are preparing lunch as others are under tree shades sharing stories. This is a dilapidated facility that does not have a fence, which speaks a lot about security lapses. The prison cell block, which was once an office, is in ruins that enemies can escape in no time. Officer in charge for Karonga Prison, Superintendent Emily Banda, tells us the prison was hit by an earthquake in 2011.
Then 2012.
Then in 2012, there was heavy rainfall that caused flooding. The Department of Disaster Management Affairs told us that the prison had to be completely closed. Then it was that time that the government found a place at Ipiana for construction of a new facility.
Sadly, after the commencement of the construction, the project was abandoned, and currently the area has been enclosed by communities who have built houses, among others. Suspects who have been remanded to the prison are kept at Karonga Police Station, which is overwhelmed and resource constrained. Karonga is one of the districts in the country with high crime rate, being a border district. For example, during the first half of 2011, police say 410 cases of crime have been recorded, and as of Monday this week, the station had 29 suspects against its holding capacity of 20. Officer in charge for the police station, Osman Gondwe, says their resources are being drained because they also provide food to the remandees who are supposed to be fed by the prison.
As we are not having a prison facility here, that's why there is deplorable congestion of suspects in the cell there. And most of the times, because when we have suspects on remand, we temporarily keep them in cells so that if funds are available, we send them to Muzimba prison or to Chitipa prison.
Coming in on the issue of funding for the remandees, the Karonga prison officer in charge, Emine Banda, says she cannot feed a suspect on remand at Karonga Police as that is not her jurisdiction. Apart from Karonga, other districts that do not have prisons include Chinji, Salima and Palombe. But Minister of Homeland Security, Richard Chimendo Banda, says they are aware of the situation at Karonga Prison, stressing it needs urgent attention. Chimendo Banda says they already raised the issue with Treasury for funding. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the government has tried some interventions such as pardoning prisoners to decongest prisons. In the past 1 year, the government has pardoned about 6,500 prisoners, according to the Ministry of Homeland Security. But still, prison facilities are overwhelmed, with a population struggling at around 13,700 against the holding capacity of 7,000 inmates. Other interventions are being done by civil society organizations, and one such is Paralegal Advisory Service Institute under its Access to Justice through Village Mediation and Paralegal Services project.
You undertake to comply with the conditions? So we have granted in there.
According to PASS, through the project supported by European Union and United Nations Development Programme, its paralegals have facilitated the release of 93,898 detainees from prisons, juvenile centers and police stations. But then, these efforts are leaning on a slippery wall due to, among others, negligence of some office bearers. A living example is the Karonga prison, which has stayed a decade in a dilapidated state without being taken care of.
Southwest Police Region, through its anti-motor vehicle theft department, has recovered 5 cars and 4 motorcycles which were suspected to have been stolen in Blantyre. The police have also arrested Helen Kwezalamba, who is suspected to have stolen the items. According to Southwest Police Region Deputy Public Relations Officer Edith Kachotsa, the owners of the property have been identified and the suspect has already appeared before court for plea taking. She explains.
Our message to the drivers is that they should not trust the customers.
Whether they are long-term customers or they are new, they should not trust them. And for the public, the customers who used to buy these vehicles, we are advising them that they should investigate first before buying anything. They should not buy any motor vehicle without a blue book. And if they have the blue book, they should verify it with the road traffic. And if it happens that their vehicles have been stolen, they should not hesitate but report here at the anti-motor vehicle unit. And we are assuring them that when they report their cases here,
liking our Facebook page, Times 360 Malawi, subscribing to 1895 and following us on Twitter at Times 360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, mask up and get vaccinated to prevent COVID-19. Please stay safe. You've been with me, Wanderer Msisia. Continue watching the rest of the programs. Good evening.